the counties can adopt by themselves. But centralization through control, through management of personnel and all these things, we are of the view that those are clawbacks to devolution. Because a time comes where the officer motioning that is an officer that is not accountable to the county unit. You input in the system is down, you want it in good time, it doesn't respond. So because of value for money and the need to do things efficiently, yes, a law can be put in place, but the control centers should be at the counties. A generic law for all counties to enforce e-procurement, but not one that is controlled by people who don't respond to the county's pace.
As we speak now, would you direct your officers to go e-procurement as prescribed by Treasury? And if not, what is it that needs to be done?
A generic legislation that can be domesticated by county assemblies, then we can be oversighted on how we are complying. But control of an entire system at a national level for the 47 counties, a system that you have no say as to when to activate it or deactivate it, stall it or enhance it, is a challenge. I think we are reaching a stage where there are certain things that, given capacities of counties, should be left to them to observe, except the regulation. If counties had all their laws relating to procurement is they have all the resources it requires, which they have, and they do it. But this process is being handled by what I would call reluctantly faceless people. You don't know which officers. It is shut down at times. You don't have it.
I think the face of the system in this committee is Madam Edith. Do you have any information on e-procurement and what needs to be done, or you can relay this information back to the office?
Chair, I can relay this information to the office, but even in the government itself, we've not started. But I'm sure we can only know that it's not working when we start, even in the counties. But I believe it shall work.
Okay, Senator.
Yeah, this information, I am from State House and I met CS Treasury. And actually the PS was also there. So we were just discussing how they are faring on the implementation of the e-procurement. And I'm sure Treasury, they have done theirs as a ministry, to give example to other ministries that are very slow in actually taking up the system. So one of the things actually the CS said, people are saying it's difficult to actually upload this system and all that. And which is intentionally, according to me, people are intentionally refusing to go the e-procurement. And I think it has to be enforced. And for the counties, of course, many of them will say that there is no network. Yeah? And that is what we had a challenge with, even with the IFMIS system before. And one of the things I proposed, all the counties that are not going to go e-procurement, no budget for them. That should be the only way that they can enforce. Because it's really difficult. And people are protesting. So that is my position, and we had a chat with them. But they are really pushing counties and ministries to make sure that they have gone the e-procurement. I thank you.
I saw the CS of National Treasury yesterday, before you had your show in the evening yesterday, insisting that, I don't know, and I think if I had the governor correct, that I thought the national and county government complement, and the fact that members of National Assembly shot down that proposal last. I thought we should not bring it up to the table because the Minister of National Treasury does not have power to direct counties on this issue of e-procurement until we legislate. So I think we should leave it at there until this matter is properly legislated before National Assembly and the Senate. And then now counties can take it up at that point in time, because we have had counties that even access, and you remember even during elections that they have to be innovative in terms of provision of coverage of network. So if we are discussing about e-procurement at this point in time for counties, I think it is premature until and unless it is becoming a legislative proposal. When the CS of National Treasury yesterday spoke and say accountants and everybody's, it is his right to quarrel the national government officials because he's the minister, he can direct policy. But on counties, I don't think it would be fair to them to take it up. And you remember even when Governor Orengo of Siaya appeared on the issue of when we asked him about the markets and the industrial parks, he was arguing that they were just given a model from Nairobi, there were no variation. You find a model of constructing an industrial park somewhere in Vihiga is the same as in Mandera. Yet the climatic conditions is totally different. So I think this issue of e-procurement, we should not allow to go beyond here until we have a proper law in place. But for now, the CS for National Treasury can rant against these officers, which is his domain, but the county should be respected and left to it until we pass the legislation.
I think that would settle it. Maybe very brief one now.
Yeah, Chair. The issue of e-procurement is a novel idea for transparency, but the person who controls it, why should counties, be it Isiolo, be it Homa Bay or Migori, be held or be constrained by the pace of another officer who is not responsive? So if legislation is to be done, let us obligate counties to do their own legislation, then oversight them if they are not implementing it. But to be at the mercy of a person who does not account to you, when they block the system, they do not take the flak. When you say that there is no internet, you take the flak. That kind of arrangement is chaotic.
Okay, it's something that we'll keep an eye on, and as it unfolds, I believe we'll be seized of it at some point. We proceed. The next issue was payment to the Council of Governors. This is not a matter subject to debate. I think this one will be getting a report from the EACC.
But Chair, it would be interesting to hear from the governor, because he has been here again, I repeat, and he knows how we used to handle it. And so, what is the explanation, really, Governor? Why do you continue committing
when we were here,
illegality? Yes.
When we were here, our resolution was different than the resolution that we have here. But allow me to speak as the chair of legal committee.
Order, Governor. You cannot mislead this committee.
Correct.
The resolution of the House was captured in the first fiduciary risk report, which I tabled and was adopted by the House when I was the chair. So I do not think that that resolution of the House was valid. But let's hear your
Chair,
views.
before he comes on board, as the chair of legal, as he has said, there is no legal backing to this expense, both the Lake Victoria Economic Bloc and Council of Governors. And Chair, to be fair, we have made a generic decision as a House. So even if we give a chance to Governor to explain, it will not change the position that we have adopted as the House. So we should move to other audit queries and allow on the two issues of, and we have even Council of...
Senator Cherargei, I am sure there is a reason why the Vice Chair asked that question.
No, I'm so not. As he speaks...
Just allow him to get his answer.
As he responds to Vice Chair, he should know that it will fall by the sword.
Yes, it will not change our position.
And but, even during Council of...
unless, Vice Chair, you want to withdraw. But I believe...
No, it's not withdrawing.
There's a reason why you asked that question.
Can I get home where I was going?
Yes.
Yes. I think another issue we have to agree, and maybe as he responds to the Vice Chair, is also these economic blocks, number one. And even Council of Speakers, is it CAF? And then there was SOCAT, the one for Table of Clerks. So, and what I would like to add on what the Vice Chair has asked, I would want to ask from the Chair of Legal, Governor Senator Ochillo Oyako, is there any legislative proposal to anchor this COG and other economic blocks so that you can get this subscription? Thank you.
From where we sit as the Committee of Legal, the Legal Committee of the Council of Governors, we are of the respectful view that subscription to the Council of Governors is not precluded by any law. We are also of the respective view that subscription to the regional economic blocks is not precluded by any law. We say so because we believe that in the budgeting processes that we go through by the Assembly, we budget for these monies. We also remit these monies to the Council of Governors and also to these regional blocks. They are public entities as far as we are concerned and are audited. Well, there is the contention that the Council of Governors is funded by the national government, but the Council of Governors, if you look at it, it's now an extension of the activities that counties do. For instance, when we were looking at SHA and the legislation relating to SHA, all the 47 counties tasked our health committee and its secretariat to look at each and everything so that we would be able to handle this. If you look at what, and this is out of the view, the Senate may not see it or the National Assembly, how much money that is available to the Council of Governors. If we leave it to National Treasury to fund it, they will give a token, then the council is not functional, then every county will be left to his own device and mercy to do this. So our position has been that, and as a chair of that legal committee, I actually find it very difficult to give a contrary position because that is the legal position we have. And if I am to suggest, I don't know, you may not buy this, we can seek a legal advisory on this and see if we are running afoul any legislation. I am of the view that we are not offending any legislation. Kenya, and including Senate, also has associations, sporting or otherwise, with other entities, and you subscribe, and you put it in your budget, and you account for it. This is how devolution grows. So that is my respectful.
Maybe, Chair, just for a follow-up, are you aware of the provisions of Section 37 of the Intergovernmental Relations Act?
Yes, I am.
2012?
Yes.
Which provide that the national government will cater for the Council of County Governors. This law, since 2012, has not been changed, this provision. So you said that you want some slack so that you can, some further intelligence so that you can discuss this. What has changed according to you? Because used to be very emphatic.
Vice Chair.
Yes.
Let me dissuade you from that line because I think you have ably demonstrated that the governor has changed his mind since he left the Senate. You have ably demonstrated it. The law as is what the auditor has cited. What we must work on is to amend the law to allow what you're talking about. In the last parliament, when I chaired the Devolution Committee, I moved amendments to the Intergovernmental Relations Act. Senator Omogeni, on, I think at committee stage, which is perfectly legitimate, in fact, that is what we must do as legislators, made further amendments to strengthen and entrench COG and to provide for various funding mechanisms. The House, we went on recess before the matter could have been concluded. So that amendment died. I think an amendment has already been introduced in this House, in this Parliament, on that matter. And I think that is what we need to fast track. Instead of wasting time going for opinions, let us just structure the law in such a way that it is so clear that anybody can read it and appreciate what it is. For now, we will not vacate from the position because this was a resolution that was adopted by the House.
I wanted to say something. Eh?
Yes, Senator Omegari.
You know, it's good to listen to the Governor of Migori when he's trying to expound on the work that COG does. And I don't think there is anybody here who is a friend of devolution who can doubt what the Council of Governors has done to defend devolution. If you read our law reports, you will see a number of cases where COG has gone to court and obtained very progressive jurisprudence in defense of devolution. We have just come from Mutembei. That was organized by, I believe, COG. That conference was organized by COG. That conference was sponsored. We made contribution as Senate, National Assembly.
Jointly organized.
Yes. So I think we also need to be fair to COG. What we should maybe focus on is to inquire whether money that goes to COG is audited, whether it is spent for purposes that can be aligned with the devolution. But I think if we are progressively moving towards anchoring COG in the law, because we all appreciate that IGTRC is an extension of executive, they can't defend devolution really. We should, I think, be alert to the fact, Chair, that COG is there to complement the good work that devolution is meant to do for our counties.
Within the meaning of the...
And then finally, I think the Chair is telling us that there is a legal provision under which they think COG is anchored.
Can I explain a bit?
Honorable members,
Is there
this is 3 million Kenya shillings out of a budget of 8 billion. I still have, this is issue number 18,
and 19.
and we still have up to issue number 38. I think we have more important matters to discuss in this report. We are open to that conversation with the council, and we are not saying the council is illegal. The council is not illegal. It is in law. Even CAF is not illegal. Our contention is its financing. And since we said that and accountability. So let's leave this. The EACC has told us that they are also thinking through certain practical applications. Perhaps when the EACC comes, we shall have agreed on a framework. But the ultimate thing is to adjust the law to make it fit for purpose. So for 3 million, let's not spend more than 1 minute.
Chair, there is also 2 million to LREP. You know, there is also 3 million, that is question number 18, and 2 million for
LREP. Because again, for the regional blocks, yes. I've had the privilege of chairing the devolution committee. Again, we had a legislative proposal that was then sponsored by Senator Rosa Nyamunga. Yes. I know it collapsed, but I know within the devolution committee there is some legislative initiative to ensure that we provide recognition for the regional blocks.
And I think, Chair, even in your county, the report I have is that as the devolution was undergoing, they raised over 400 million. So we need to know how these activities are done by COG, and the only way, Governor, is for it to be in law so that we can say no AG. Because looking at how the function was carried, I don't think it contributed more, it consumed more than 200 million. But they raised over 400 million. So, Chair, that is... including the Senate contribution.
Members, these are things, yes, these are things, yes. part of the solution, part of the solution is in our hands. Yeah, part of the solution is in our hands. So let's not spend more time than is necessary on this particular matter.
The PSC should be surcharged to return our money.
Yeah, let it be on record. It's the Speaker, it's the House that made a contribution. National Assembly and Senate.
So we have
he's got, if you want to surcharge, you surcharge the speakers of the two houses, not PSC.
I think on the second limb, or honourable members, on the COG we had clear recommendations. On the second limb, Management seeks the committee's indulgence for further discussion. I think we put it on record that the Senate is working on a proper legal framework through the Devolution Committee to regularize this. And that applies to both COG and this issue of the regional blocks. I think let's leave it at that, and we can proceed to the other issues. Sorry, over? On regional blocks? No. Yeah, there is. Remember, Devolution Committee, Senator Muma, they did a mapping of laws related to devolution that needed to be amended. So they are working on something. It was supposed to be an omnibus amendment, but I think they were advised to do separate.
Why can't you advise it says he chairs the legal committee.
Yes.
I think they should have, I don't think there's anything wrong in partnership. Let them partner with MoMA.
In terms of public
Let
participation.
them partner with MoMA, look at the, the gaps in the law, and then they make a proposal. I think we would like to see COG properly anchored in law. They do a good work.
Correct.
So maybe instead of paying you a courtesy call, they should go to the committee of MoMA in tying up the
they don't need
the
to
gaps.
pay me any call. But what we are doing is we are talking about the law as is, but we're also taking note of initiatives aimed at regularizing it. Let's go to 120 million on county scholarship programs. That's why I didn't want to spend too much time on the 5 million. Again, for purposes of efficiency, Governor, 120 million went to the Migori County Ward Development Fund for bursaries. The irregularity there is that there were no regulations and there was no scholarship policy. Now, when a fund is established, regulations must also be published to guide then withdrawals. So do we have regulations for this fund?
Thank you, Chair. We have, and we, over the same matter, have appeared and are appearing again before your sister committee, Education Committee, on this.
Okay, that's fine to get that background. Are there regulations? Because what you have done here is only to annex the policy. Now, policy and regulation obviously are two different things. The two things queried by the auditor, no regulations and no scholarship policy. We haven't gotten to the intergovernmental agreements yet. So, are the regulations available? And have they been approved by the county assembly?
Yes, they have been approved by the county assembly. The policy, as we are trying to review it, to update it. It was a 2019 one approved then. In our view, the policy is, up to now, was detailed enough to be able to guide on what was happening.
No, Governor, just specifically, our recommendation is that to urgently develop and implement regulations for efficient administration of the program. I would have expected that you'd also annex a copy of the regulations for the fund. This is very easy. If you have regulations, I think you have the power. You have the power to do so.
We have a detailed policy. We may not have had a regulation, but we're in the process of working on it.
So then
but
then it is irregular, because you can't draw from a fund without regulations, control of budget.
And even if they
control of budget, how are they drawing from the fund without regulations?
Chair, it's not a fund. It's just titled as a fund.
Migori County Ward Development Fund.
That is the title, but it's not a separate fund.
It should be.
So it is it's a line budget item.
It's a line budget item.
What do you call it? Bursary?
Yes.
Okay.
So that is what it is. We don't have a fund by that title.
Auditor General, this was your observation, because when you ask for regulations, you're assuming a fund has been established.
What made you think that? Yes, the wage.
Auditor General, please.
Yeah, sure. They normally have Migori County Development Fund, which they even submit financial statements. So the key thing here is about...
So there's a fund?
There's a fund.
Governor...
Migori County Fund.
Governor, have you established a fund or not?
No, we have not established a fund by that description, but the line item, that is the title. because it goes towards funding bursaries, but there is no separate and distinct fund run and going by that title.
Auditor?
So is your assertion, Governor, that there is no fund? But the auditor is saying there is a fund. You are saying it's a budget line. Governor, let me assist you. When you say it's a budget line, do you have a copy of the budget of that year under review so that you can see? If it is a budget line, then.
If we look
Governor?
at the note on transfer to other government entities, there is a World Development Fund where
Yes.
120 million was transferred. Auditor, is that the one you're referring
Chair, which page?
Page 38. to? On the notes?
Yes, Chair.
It is there.
And you see, they also prepare financial settlement for Migori County Development Fund.
Yet there are no regulations.
And
That's what we are querying. because
this
it must
is
be
120
regulation.
in
Governor?
notes number.
Governor, I think
Vitu
we need to
Wakalatas.
be more precise in our, and be more factual.
Chair.
The auditor says that he has even seen financial statements prepared for that fund.
And it is 120.
So how do you have financial statements prepared, a fund established without regulations?
Chair, maybe in addition, is it World Development Fund and both years have been 120 million? Both years. Is this what, Chair, you are
Yeah.
calling Vitu Wakalatas?
Yes. We agree with the Auditor General that there are no regulations. We shall invoke the necessary clauses of the PFM Act and regulations and pronounce ourselves on the sanctions that should apply. There's a bigger business of intergovernmental agreements when it comes to bursaries. Governor, you may want to inform us what has been the conversation. You remember the control of budget had declined to allow withdrawals for these bursaries, and there was a little bit of a stalemate. What is the current position?
And again, this also underscores the importance of the Council of Governors. The Council of Governors Education Committee engaged the Department of Education. A memorandum of understanding has been drawn that fits what the Constitution stipulates, a function that is at another level. There could be an agreement on how to deal with it. But insofar as our county of Migori is concerned, we did not offer bursaries because of the back and forth that arose out of it. Although we have signed the memorandum, and in the current budget, we have allocated some amount that may be applied in that direction.
So, OAG, we agree with you on lack of regulations. I believe that is an offense under the Act and regulations. The PFM regulations, we'll pronounce ourselves on that. But also, when you're doing the subsequent audit,
To do this audit, then you come here to only do policy issues, looking at the laws that are not supposed to be changed so that it strengthen devolution. Otherwise, for me, devolution is the best thing that ever happened to Kenya. And we must all strive to make sure that devolution works. Thank you, Chair.
thank you. Governor.
Thank you. I have only 3 brief remarks to make. One is to appreciate the invitation that we normally receive to appear before the Senate. When we appear before the Senate, we appear here to defend devolution. It is in this appearance that Kenyans get to hear our responses to concerns that have been objectively highlighted by the Office of the Auditor General and other oversight institutions. It is in these appearances that you get to understand us so that you can effectively represent us. So as for me, appearance before the Senate has always been my duty. I do it, I receive corrections, and I also understand what devolution means. I recently came by some allegation that the Senate is a place where bad things are done. I will personally say that I am not a witness to that. I know that the Senate is a good place. people must always appear before the Senate and account for the law that they are obligated to follow, the funds placed under their charge, and their performances. And I'll be always appearing. Lastly, I want to request the Senate, as you establish as a parliament the legislation relating to CDF, which I support, I have no problem with it, and the funding that has something to do with the NGAF, I have no problem with it, and the oversight funds. I want to implore upon you that unless and until you are in a position to determine the amounts, then you might create something that will ultimately get you out of the serving table. So Senate must also push forward for amendment of the Constitution that will enable you to determine the allocations. If you don't, the counties are doomed, you are doomed, and the nation is doomed. Thank you very much.
I think having gotten there, the person who is most relieved is Madam Florence Ochillo. You thought we had forgotten about you. You are lucky the boss spoke, so you cannot speak after him. But we want to encourage the audit committee to provide prudential guidance to the county to ensure that we do not deal with some of the things that have come here, like paragraphs, compliance with IPSAS, missing annexures, small things that should not be coming to the Senate. We wish you safe journey back. I think the Vice Chair had said everything that we needed to say, and we shall advise you on the next engagement, whether it will be through written submissions or it will be through physical appearance before the committee.
Or we can visit Migori.
Yeah, or we can visit Migori. And I think that we especially for these follow-up meetings, sometimes it's important to hold the meetings within the counties, because even like the 15 projects of roads, infrastructure, it's a waste of time to consider them in Nairobi. Deputy Governor, I think you are learning well.
Yeah, thank you very much for discussion. The discussion has been informative, and I have learned a lot that goes on in these forums. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think the governor is doing you a great favor, because for him is a well of experience, having been a member of parliament, having been a minister, having been a chair of PIC, having been a senator, having been a head of a state corporation, chair of PAC, and now governor. So you must pull up your socks so that you can learn quickly to be at the same level with him. Governor, it's a good sign that you can have that kind of complementarity between you and your deputy. So we wish you a safe journey back. The meeting is adjourned.